Welcome to MoCo Pride. I'm your host, Phillip Alexander Downie, and during this 5-part series, we are taking a look at businesses and industries affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, I'm at Tusculum Farm visiting with Trish Schectman and seeing how her business has changed throughout this crisis. Stay tuned. Hello, Trish. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could you introduce yourself to our audience and Tusculum Farm?
Sure. So I'm Trish Schectman. This is Tuscaloom Farm, a 500-acre working farm that also hosts a B&B and event venue. It was originally built as a 2-story stone farmhouse in 1747. The original owner was the Honorable Judge Henry Griffith, who happened to witness the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I guess not happen, he was invited. And because of that, the Daughters of the American Revolution in the mid-50s designated the home as a historical home. So that is like a great piece of our history. And the Freeman family has owned the farm since the early 60s. And this is really the 3rd generation of Freeman's idea to change what used to be their family home to a bed and breakfast and event venue. My husband and I, Joel, whom we call Farmer Joel, we are the caretakers, and we joke he takes care of the outside and I take care of the inside.
Awesome. And so when you say working farm, what exactly does that mean?
So of the 500 acres, 300 acres are in corn, hay, and soy. 100 acres we call for people and animals. So there are horses, lambs, chickens, alpacas, and we raise our own bees for honey. And then we have about another 100 acres that is forestry that protects the southern perimeter of the property. And we literally share a fence line with Wardaka Brew Farm and Wardaka Horse Recreation.
That is really cool.
Yeah. We joke we could share a cup of sugar. It would just take us each about 20 minutes to get to the other one.
Absolutely. I was going to say, with the amount of acreage, your neighbor is very far away. Yeah. So you run a very multifaceted business. How have your operations changed during the COVID-19 pandemic?
So in April, we all sat down as a group with our investors and the Freeman family and said, how are we going to survive this? It is great that we are in the inn business as well as the event business, because there was a path, at least, for the inn business. We changed our cleaning protocols. We have, we always clean, right? Everybody always cleaned and sanitized. We've just adopted some different programs based on what the CDC recommendations are, as well as some of the trade organizations that we participate in. So we decided that we would not have unrelated groups on the farm at the same time. And the big reason being that we have a pool, which maybe we'll see later when we take the tour, although it's covered now because it's closed. But pool seemed to be one of those 4-letter words when COVID first came out, that it would be easier if there was just one group here and they were comfortable with each other, and their group could be 2, it could be 10, it could be 20, but it was their group and who they felt comfortable with. We changed our wedding business significantly. We did, with one of our caterers, come out with what we called In the Name of Love, that we did in really May and June, but it is continued on even now, where we literally just had the couple here. And we would have an officiant, a photographer, flowers, and catering, doing a dinner for 2. We slowly, as the guidelines and restrictions opened up in Montgomery County and the state of Maryland, we slowly built that number up a little bit to a comfortable, I think our average has been about 20 people. We have taken micro wedding to a whole new level. We always had micro weddings at the farm because it's so intimate and it lends itself to it. But now we were doing them any day of the week, which we used to have some sort of rules about what days of the week we could do it on, but we've been doing them anytime anybody wants to do it.
That's awesome. So you used to host multiple events at a time, like at the same time here for different parties or groups, and that's changed.
Yeah, sort of. So we may have a party in what we call the hay barn. There might have been a party in here, and then there could have been guests staying in the different accommodations that the inn offers. I don't think ever had 2 events going on simultaneously, but both businesses were moving. So you could have an event in the hay barn, and you could also be staying in the inn, and they didn't really conflict. But we took that away, and now the hay barn, at least till for the foreseeable future, is part of the inn stay, which it didn't used to be. So people love it. Like, I have to say, the guests who have come love the farm. They have it to themselves. They're on 500 acres. It's easy to social distance. They get it. Most of our guests have come from the cities, Baltimore or DC, and they've just wanted to get out of the city, have their kids be able to just run and not worry.
And how many people can you accommodate at the inn?
So we have 12 rooms in 3 buildings that will sleep up to 23 people.
Okay, awesome. That is, I mean, it's a great space, and with so much open air, I'm sure this would be a joy for any family to come and experience right now, just being cooped up in the house for months, literally. So that is fantastic. You have had to change your wedding business over significantly, and has that had an impact on your personnel and staff that you've had at the Tusculum Farm?
It has. We reduced our part-time staff. We don't have a very big full-time staff anyway, but we were able to keep all of our full-time staff employed and working. You know, part of it is it's a 500-acre working farm. The farm doesn't stop working because of the pandemic. The animals are still here. We have a great partner that actually farms the land, but there is still 100, 150 acres that this staff, the farm staff, takes care of as far as manicuring and landscaping and all the things that go along with a 500-acre farm.
Wow. And what made you and your husband want to become stewards of such an amazing but large property that has so many different aspects to it?
Because we are gluttons for punishment. No. So I have been lucky enough to work for the Freeman family since 1997. Okay. I did leave for a brief period of time to be a meeting planner for about 5 years in Charlottesville, Virginia. And quite honestly, I don't think anything would have taken us from Charlottesville or those careers except for this. And so when the Freeman family finished going through the planning and zoning with Montgomery County and they sort of had their business ready to go, Michelle Freeman reached out to us and said she'd like a husband and wife team here. And she said the first couple she thought of was my husband and I. And so we are, it was a hard decision, but an awesome decision. And I joke all the time, I've had some great gigs with the Freeman family, but this is a pretty good one.
No, I mean, it seems like an awesome one. The setting is absolutely beautiful. So I was going to ask you, what was your motivation to become, you know, like basically to become the steward of this property, but that they kind of built it and asked you to run it?
And my husband and I have both been in the hospitality business most of our working careers. So it's not that far of a stretch. We do joke with Farmer Joel that he is the YouTube farmer. He has learned how to be a farmer, mostly from YouTube. And during the pandemic, he's done some great things like increase our beehives to now we have like 5 or 6 of them, which we still only have 2. We are raising lambs now, so we have baby lambs during the pandemic. And he doubled the flock of our chickens.
That is really awesome. So when you were, I mean, you said that you take care of the interior, but I'm sure that you get your hands dirty in a little bit of everything. Do you have a favorite part of the working farm that you like to visit?
So I am definitely a lover of our alpacas, which they are a very popular place, a very popular part of the farm. Everybody likes to go and pet them, and they're pretty friendly, Nickelodeon and Duke. But I think it's the drive down the driveway that I'm so lucky every morning that I get to come and drive down that driveway, and it's been a crazy 2020 for everybody, but there is a little bit of a deep breath for a minute when you drive down that driveway.
It's true. It was breathtaking when I drove in, and it was very nice. I'm like, wow, it keeps going. And
I've done it every day for 4.5 years.
Do you have art on the property? Did I see a few pieces when I was coming in?
Yes. So Carl and Virginia Freeman were huge art lovers, the first generation of Freemans, and collected all the sculptures that we have on site. And there's about 13 of them. We have had our Megan in our marketing department has put together a great sculpture book, we like to call it. And it's been fun for people to do as kind of a treasure hunt. We set them out. We don't really have a map. We are working on it, but it's been more fun to just sort of let people go and try to find them and then give them the sculpture book afterwards, and they compare and they're like, oh, we didn't see that one. Let's go back out and find it. So Not the intention of Carl and Virginia Freeman, but it is the way we use it today.
Oh, I love that. I mean, you're using the property to its fullest. So in terms of the way that our state and local government have been handling the pandemic and offering resources to small businesses, do you feel like the response has been sufficient?
Well, it's a tricky question. So we are very lucky that we have applied for some grants through the county and the state, and we were winners of some of those grants, and we do appreciate those resources. Probably the hardest part for our venue and other venues in the county has been the gathering number being limited to 50, because there doesn't seem to be a formula behind it.
So now to 25.
And now it's at 25. And we're on 500 acres. So it's 25 people on 500 acres or 25 people on an acre. And so that part has been that's been a hard pill to swallow because it has affected so many things. We get it. We're behind the safety. We want our staff and our guests to be safe. But it's very difficult to explain to someone who's looking for a place, and when they're told they can only have 50 people outside, I think sometimes they think we're hoodwinking, like we don't want their business, or we're making stuff up, or like we're just using the pandemic as an excuse, because it's hard for people to calculate that when they see so much land here. Additionally, the counties so we're right on the border of Howard County, Montgomery County and Howard County, and Montgomery County and Frederick County. You're able to do different things in those counties, which we've definitely lost some business to other counties. So that is another hard pill to swallow. Tusculum Farm Enterprises as a B&B and event venue has only been open since January of 2018. The pandemic came at exactly the year mark that we opened up the suites in the farmhouse. And we're very lucky. I don't want to seem ungrateful. We have pivoted and figured some things out, but the 50-person limit for a social gathering is a tough pill to swallow when there isn't a formula like there is for other businesses in the area.
Exactly. I completely understand that. I mean, us at the museum, we've been dealing with the exact same thing, and I've been speaking with other event industry professionals, and they would just like to be consulted on, or at least asked how your business would be affected, like what space do you have? And so it's kind of like gatherings, only 50 people, whereas a restaurant might have a formula for capacity. And so I think that's where it's kind of getting lost in translation.
And that's where I think they feel like they're being hoodwinked or whatever, because like I can go to the brewery down the street and I see way more than 50 people. And it's explaining, which is a very hard thing to explain to people who aren't paying attention to it every minute of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So are you a part of any work groups that are meeting regularly that kind of discuss the pandemic and the woes of, I guess, the industry that you're in?
We do. There is a work group that is done by the county executive through Jerome. I'm going to get Jerome's last name wrong, so I won't even try. And then it's with Visit MoCo, Kelly, who's the executive director. And they have put a group of us together that are in the hospitality, event venue, and arts and humanities. And it has been the dedication by that group. So again, that's Jerome from the county, who maybe we don't agree with the 50-person, but the gentleman meets with us every week and listens to us. I'm not saying that there's been a lot of action, but listening, like at least we're being heard. And under Kelly's leadership from Visit MoCo, it's been helpful. And I've learned a lot, like a tremendous amount about where Dr. Gales comes from and the reason how the decisions are made. May not agree, but I definitely have learned a tremendous amount by being part of the work group.
Yeah, I mean, I bet. I've learned a lot about contract law since.
Force majeure.
Exactly.
Nobody ever paid attention to that part of the contract.
Exactly, I know. And now we're all like, revising, highlighting, making sure that everything's there. But in terms of, you've fortunately been able to be successful throughout this, and you have like I said, multifaceted business. But are there tips for other small business owners, property stewards that you can give them to try and help them be more successful during this time, or even regularly in business?
Well, I think it's really important to be, especially in the hospitality business, to be a part of these convention and tourism bureaus, whatever they're called in different cities, because it's really, they're the voice. Like, they're the ones that can get to the table with the right people. I think I definitely drink the Kool-Aid of those convention and tourism bureaus because they're doing a lot for us right now. But I think also paying attention to your county government and realizing, I'm sure people may or may not pay attention to who's running for county council or who the county executive, maybe there's other things going on, but it's important.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And what would you say that your favorite building aspect of this business has been?
Like at the farm?
Yeah.
Like my favorite building at the farm?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So we have a screen porch that's outside of the farmhouse. That's pretty much a 9-month room building. We put plexiglass up like just 2 weeks ago, so you can pretty much sit out there till, I don't know, some winters in Maryland you might be able to sit out there the whole time, but a normal Maryland winter, maybe to the end of January. And it just gives you sort of this calmness.
I like it. I was going to ask what your favorite place was, but I also meant, what was your favorite aspect of development in your business? No.
I'm so sorry.
Clarified.
I think, so this will be a very hard question. So everything that you see here has been here. Some of it's been here since 1747. Mm-hmm. Some of it's been here since 2003 or 2006 timeframe, like the building that we're sitting in here. So when Joel and I came, there wasn't any, we haven't built anything because we are so lucky to be given this beautiful canvas to sort of work with. However, the interiors of the farmhouse being redecorated and adding the new touches for hospitality versus your family running around in it is probably the closest thing to development that we've done. And it has been such an interesting transformation because I've been, as I mentioned, lucky enough to work for the Freeman since 1997. So I saw the farmhouse under Carl and Virginia Freeman, and I saw the farmhouse under Josh and Michelle Freeman, and now I see the farmhouse as the inn. And 3 different decorators, 3 different people behind it, 3 beautiful buildings, and it's just interesting to see how each time it's still beautiful, just done completely different.
That's awesome. So we did speak about your favorite building, and I would love for you to take me on a tour.
Sure.
So that's awesome. But when we come back, we are going to take a tour of Tusculum Farm. So I'll see you after the break. Welcome back to MoCo Pride. Trish, thank you so much for taking the time to show us around today. And I'll just let you take it away and give me a tour of the property.
Okay, well, as we mentioned earlier, it's a 500-acre working farm, and we're B&B and event venues. So this building is our only indoor event space. We call this the Hay Barn. When it isn't COVID, it holds 44 people. And typically it's used for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, anniversary parties. Sometimes it's brunch on Sunday after a wedding. It can be whatever you want it to be. Upstairs in our mezzanine, we have pool, darts, cards, and a TV. We have a real working bar that actually came out of the Tidewater Inn in Easton, Maryland. It used to be the Duck Bar, and now it is here at Tusculum. And then we have a catering kitchen, which our catering partners are very aware of, where they keep it hot and keep it cold. And then this space gets used for a multitude of things. It's done square dancing, it's done line dancing, it's done a birthday party, and a formal sit-down Thanksgiving dinner. So whatever works.
Awesome. Fantastic.
And so now we'll head downstairs to our in-house movie theater.
Great, you lead the way. Trish, thank you for bringing me down to this fantastic movie theater. Can you tell me a little bit about the space?
Sure, this is our in-house movie theater. It's great for a movie night with the family. Sometimes it gets used during rehearsal dinners with the photo montage, where it shows all the pictures of the couple and how the first picture is always somebody in a bathtub and finishes with the couple. It has been a massage therapy area. It has been where the bride has gotten ready. It has been a meditation area. It's been watch parties for the Stanley Cup or the Masters or Super Bowl. So it has a lot of different options and possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a great relaxing place. I feel very relaxed here.
And our corporate groups use it for meeting, like for presentations, TED Talks. They have their computer hooked up and they can do PowerPoints. It really does have a lot of different, very versatile.
Yeah, I feel like it lends itself to all of that. So how do you relax and come up with your next great creative ideas for the property?
Well, thankfully, there's a great team. Because I tend to be the let's just get it done. And thankfully, there are some people here on the team that are more creative and have some great ideas. So I really rely on them heavily to help us come up with different events and different fun things to do for both our guests or our couples or our meetings.
Okay, awesome. So I could honestly spend so much time in here, but you're going to take me to the next building?
Yep, we're going to head over to the farmhouse.
All right, fantastic. Let's go.
Welcome to the farmhouse. So this is our front door. We walk in through here. And in our first room here is the living room. So the farmhouse is set up like most people's second floor, two-story homes are on the first floor. There's lots of large communal rooms where people can gather and entertain. So these perimeter tables are usually used for people to have breakfast who are staying in this house. We serve breakfast from our dining room, which we'll go to in a minute. And then outside here is the majority of the lawns and gardens. And our pool and hot tub area and the screen porch that I spoke about earlier is my favorite building.
Yes, I was going to say I kind of saw it a little bit in the background. So
So we'll go right in here to the dining room.
Fantastic.
This is the dining room. This is where we serve breakfast from. We have changed the way we do our operations a little bit right now. Most of the time we serve breakfast over in the hay barn where we were before. But when everybody in this house, when it's just 10 people on property staying in this house, this is where they have their meals.
So where does your team work from? I mean, now they probably work from home, but where does your team normally work from?
Well, most of our team works here.
Okay.
Because we're doers, right?
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
have our grounds and landscaping folks. We have our farm hands. We have a chef. We have our executive housekeeper. We're all on site. Our marketing and our accounting and sort of administrative tasks are done from home.
Okay, great.
Well, this is the gallery, which really joins the two sections of the home. And up until 2003, this was the back door of the home.
Wow.
And this is all the original stone from 1747. So all the stone that you see in this house is the original stone. And as people started adding on to the house, including the Freemans, they just started incorporating the stone into the interior of the home.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And through here is our library. So this is just one continuous gallery. And here is really, Martha Blair Fitzgerald was our interior decorator. And this is really her signature room. The Freemans gave her this carpet and said, decorate around it. And we joke because she brought us like 48 colors of blue, different colors of blue, and had them all over the walls and wanted us to pick which color blue. And it all looked blue. But she picked the perfect one. And this room is with the fireplace going. It's really, the most coziest of rooms. It's the only TV on the first floor. So families are often hanging out in here, playing games. And then it becomes a great boardroom for some of our corporate meeting space.
Awesome. Well, it's a very beautiful room. I mean, I remember when you hosted the venue managers luncheon here over a year ago, before the shutdown and everything was normal. And all of the spaces just work together so well in this house. So I can see just, the immense value of this property. It's very fantastic.
Awesome. Well, how about we head upstairs and see a few suites?
Awesome. I'd love to.
Great. So here are the 3 of the 4 suites are located on this part of the house, Phillip. We have the Red Rooster, the Farmer's Daughter, and the Fox Den. The Red Rooster is from the original 2-story, 1-bedroom farmhouse. All the walls are plaster and stone. When we moved our bathroom around a little bit, but the bathroom is in here to the left. And then as we head over to the farmer's daughter, we call this the Sweet Suite. It's our king suite. It's very sweet looking. It also boasts panoramic views from the ponds to the pool. It's our really only true corner suite.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, from the bathroom, the bed, the post, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this suite. I'm like scoping out where I'm going to stay when I when I come for my visit.
Come on. And then our last suite on this side is the Fox Den, primarily our bridal suite, but it is a beautiful king bed with great views of the pool and the gardens, but it's really the bathroom that sells this suite. It is above the original summer kitchen, so it has this very dramatic chimney that goes right through the center of it.
Yeah, I mean the stone on this, yes, the chimney, I was going to call it a fireplace, but it's not because it doesn't have the fire that can go up through. But yes, the stone on the chimney is absolutely beautiful.
So these are 3 of the 4 suites. We also have our Beehive Suite, and then we also have, remember, the carriage house and the coop. So 12 rooms in 3 buildings that can sleep up to 23 people.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for showing me around the space. It has been an absolute pleasure. I always love to end these shows on a really good positive note. So how can our viewers and patrons support you?
You know, visiting the farm and staying overnight, right? We are great to be in the in business. Bringing your small meetings. We are a perfect place for small meetings. During the week, it's you know, we've had a lot of leadership teams come out and do their goal setting, and they just need some time to like think outside the box. The farm gives you that perfect setting. And of course, if anybody's looking to get married, we'd love to host your wedding here at Tusculum.
That is awesome. Well, that is a great note to end on. Thank you again so much, Trish, for joining us today on this episode of MoCo Pride. Remember to love yourselves and love each other. Good night.